Irish guy, and alright, let's get on with it then. The Premier League results from the weekend. Let's see what happened. Right, let's go. Chelsea 1, Brentford 4. This is one of those scorelines where your brain needs a few minutes to process it. I'm sorry, but if you were driving your car on a country road in Britain after 5 PM on Saturday afternoon and you heard the radio announce this result, oh, you'll be doing well not to have crashed into a tree. Honestly, this scoreline should arguably have come with a health warning. Because if I'm waking up from a nap and hear that the champions of Europe, the champions of the world have shipped 4 at home to Brentford, I'd assume I just woken up in some weird dystopian Matrix vortex. I mean, honestly, the radio might as well announce that the fella who played Aquaman has just been caught digging up corpses in some abandoned cemetery in Norwich. They might as well tell you that Tinky Winky was just arrested for kissing his boyfriend on the beach in Qatar. Honestly, Chelsea getting spanked by Brentford. I mean, I'll admit it, when I heard this result, I nearly choked on my dinner. To be fair, that might have been due to the fact that I was sucking melted Maltesers out of a sweaty sock, but still, Chelsea 1, Brentford 4. It's official. Thomas Tuchel might be one of the most brilliant minds in football, but like everyone, this guy has got a kryptonite. I mean, for Pep Guardiola, it's been too clever for his own good. Like refusing to pick a defensive midfielder for a Champions League final. Honestly, just why? What, did he want to be able to go down the pub and gloat about the fact that he didn't need to use a holding midfielder to win the Champions League? I mean, no, Pep, you should never be boasting about dropping a DM. I mean, who are you, McGregor in the octagon? I mean, anyway, for Arsene Wenger, his Achilles heels were throw-ins at Stoke, and for Jose Mourinho, clearly his kryptonite and weakness was towards physios who drag their feet. But Tuchel, his is the month of April. I mean, they talk about a woman's time of the month, where the vast majority immediately resemble the female version of the Hulk. But for Tuchel, for 1 week a year, suddenly he shows the tactics of a slim Avram Grant. You know, an Avram Grant who doesn't constantly stink of melted Kit Kats, and who clearly always stores an emergency box of cookies in his pants. Lads, if you don't believe me, this time last year, Tuchel oversaw a 5-2 defeat at home to West Brom. I mean, PSG didn't have any games the previous April in 2020, but go back to 2019, and he gets beat 5-1 by Lille, 3-2 by Nantes, and again 3-2 against Montpellier. 3 defeats in a month to teams in France. I mean, his previous April, he watches his Borussia Dortmund team get crushed 4-1 by Bayern Munich, getting viciously eaten alive by Ribéry and Robben. You know, a double act about as old and stale as the 2 lads of Only Fools on Horses. I mean, I'm pretty sure one of them is half dead. And the previous April, in 2016, he blew a 3-1 lead at Anfield to get dumped out of Europe, having a star-studded Dortmund team and still losing to a side with Lallana on the wing. And now, not only has he seen Brentford embarrass him, but he's just watched his wife of 13 years file for divorce. This man hates April. But what a performance from a Brentford team, who I thought were dead and buried. But lads, Antonio Rudiger morphs into prime SEN to drill home a 40-yard banger, but then welcome to the Christian Eriksen show. Lads, forget the heart problem. Even at Inter Milan and towards the end of his time at Spurs, this guy looked like a stale footballer veering into Alexis Sanchez territory. He looked like he lost his hunger after that Champions League final. I mean, honestly, at the San Siro, Antonio Conte could be forgiven for having checked his Tottenham receipts and just making sure that he hadn't signed a 42-year-old Jermaine Genius. But lads, since returning to England, this Eriksen is like the Eriksen of 2015. He's scoring in every match. And let's not forget, this guy who hadn't played a single minute of football in 6 months. I thought he'd be rustier than a pre-sock, but no! He's been brilliant. And a 4-1 win at Stamford Bridge. I'm still blown away by this result. Tottenham 5, Newcastle 1. Okay, first, let me get this one out of the way, or honestly, my brain's gonna filter out my nose, okay? It's Doherty. Alright, say it with me. Doherty. Not Doherty, not Doherty, not Doherty. Honestly, can nobody in Britain say the damn word? It's not that, it's pretty simple. I mean, come on. We're not asking you to pronounce ancient Swahili here. I'm not asking you to speak in the local dialect of Guangyanxi. But anyway, listen, brilliant win for Tottenham. They recovered well from Fabian Schär, limply hitting a tame free kick. Cue world champion Hugo Lloris, once again showing the wrist strength of a wheelchair-bound swan. And it trickles into the net. Honestly, world champion Lloris, with hands made of Weetabix apparently. Listen, the old Tottenham would have crumbled. Their heads would have just dropped, fallen down. But instead, under Antonio Conte, they rallied to score 5 without reply. And it's fitting. Conte's secret to success is redeveloping and revolutionizing and re-energizing the full-back flop. I mean, honestly, he had Victor Moses, some former damp sock from Wigan, winning the Premier League and Serie A as a right-wing back. This is a guy who turned Marcus Alonso from Sunderland and Bolton reject, you know, just a walking lump of ready breck, into a Premier League winning left back. He had a 35-year-old Ashley Young, finishing 13 points above Ronaldo. And here, Ben Davies, Matt Doherty and Emerson Royale were all written off as full-back disasters at Spurs. I mean, Christ, well, Jose Mourinho left Doherty riding on the bus for a match. But Conte, he eyes up unwanted fullbacks the same way Chris Rock licks his lips at a potential Hadapisha joke. I mean, Ozzy, if he was a Match of the Day commentator, I don't know, John Joe Shelby would be mailing in death threats after the first 20 minutes. But yeah, Conte is a fullback magician. It's almost like rehoming unwanted puppies. And it's fitting that they all scored a goal. But also Harry Kane dropping deep, pinning passes about like flying Stevie G. Lads, once his legs are gone age 35, oh, you just know he's going to reinvent himself as the English Xabi Alonso. Just in a deep line midfield role. It's just mental. But Newcastle, sorry, absolute wet dog food of a performance. I thought Eddie Howe was short of the defense. With what, Vaseline and glue? Are you sure? Because this was a game where your four-man backline looked like chunks of wet burnt toast. I mean, Dan Burn has been mostly solid since arriving from Brighton, but here, oh no, it looked like Howe just dragged some beanpole out of the crowd and tossed him into the number 33 shirt. He was a bumbling buffoon tripping over his own feet. For the Newcastle makeover takeover, I always mirror it to what happened at Man City. You know, because there were bumps in the road at the beginning of that project too, right? Nah, I'm sorry, lads, you're on your own here. Because if you're looking for Man City for comfort, you're not gonna find it. Because guess what? It took the Manchester City owners 8 years of investing into the club before they witnessed their team lose by 4 goals, getting beaten up by Chelsea 5-1 in the FA Cup in 2016. And they haven't conceded 5 goals in a game since. I mean, there's just been 2 other losses by 4 goal margins, to Barcelona in 2016 and Everton in 2017. And that's it. But the Newcastle owners, they've been in the job 6 months, and already this is the 3rd time they've watched their club lose by 4 goals. It's not good enough, Eddie Howe. This club's purple patch is over. Make no mistake about it, they are very much in a relegation scrap. Wolves 2, Aston Villa 1. Steven Gerrard, is he all that? I mean, this guy's apparently tailor-made for Liverpool and England, right? Is he? Is he though? Based on what? I mean, the guy took the job in November, and he mostly either wins or he loses. All or nothing. There's been 2 draws, 8 wins, and 10 defeats. I mean, if he hadn't been the face of Liverpool, if he wasn't a footballing legend who used to get complimented by Xavi or Zidane, if this was instead, oh, I don't know, Scott Parker in the dugout getting these sort of results, or if this was Sol Campbell or Nicky Butt, I'm pretty sure you'd have Villa fans screaming for their head.
Just absolutely nothing's going our way. Every time we come here, it's just a waste of time.
Yeah. Do you think they're really having fun? They look like they'd rather be on a Disneyland ride with Jack the Ripper or enjoying a wine tasting event at Bill Cosby's house. They are not having fun at Molineux. I mean, Gerrard played 14 players in the 90 minutes, right? 14 players who over the course of their careers have cost a combined £500 million in transfer fees. Yeah. He had £500 million on that pitch. £500 million in Villa shirts. To put it in context, Gerrard lined out in his last Champions League final against AC Milan, surrounded by £200 million worth of teammates. I mean, come on. Right now, he is swimming in money. Christ, well, even his goddamn left back has cost a combined £75 million in transfer fees. Everyone wants Gerrard to succeed at Villa Park, so they made allowances for the early defeats, easing him into the job, because his first 3 Villa losses were against Pep, Klopp and Tuchel. But since then, you've been outwitted by a guy sacked in Denmark. In a coach who looks a little bit like someone who just escaped Santa's workshop. You've lost to a fella who spent 87% of his life at Bournemouth. You've been bested by a nearly 80-year-old granddad who you have witnessed firsthand fail in both Liverpool and England. You've lost to a guy who lost his Manchester United job 9 months into a 6-year deal. Oh yeah, and you also lost to a former Merseyside Derby midfield rival whose managerial experience just consists of sitting on Pep's lap. And now, you've just lost to a former Swansea and Sheffield Wednesday number 2. Oh, Gerrard, it's not a great start. But listen, great performance by Wolves, goals from Johnny and an Ashley Young own goal, although that Aston Villa penalty, arguably the worst decision I've ever seen in my life. Watkins was given a penalty for jumping into Jose Sa. I mean, who's in the VAR studios? One of the creatures of the Hills of Ice? Ow! How is this a penalty? Man United 1, Leicester 1. Man United's season is over. Come on, none of these players care anymore. Top 4 is slowly draining down the toilet. The players have already mentally checked out of listening to their German babysitter. I mean, what authority is Ralph Rangnick supposed to command when the papers are debating over your successor? Honestly, it's like asking for respect from your wife while she's actively sitting beside you in the cinema, scrolling through Tinder on her phone. Honestly, no wonder you're now scrapping for a 1-1 draw with Leicester, being rescued by the likes of Fred. Honestly, Leicester should have won this match, and Manchester United were clinging onto VAR to rule out James Maddison's winner to rescue them a point. But as everyone has checked out of this club, we're at a stage now where an invincible robot like Cristiano Ronaldo is missing out because he's ill. Apparently Ronaldo has a cold. I'm sorry, Ronaldo could be coughing up his body weight in phlegm, and he would still be making the matchday squad. I think it's fair to say he doesn't care about scrapping for 4th. Honestly, his passion is gone. West Ham 2, Everton 1. Make no mistake about it, this will have ranked pretty high up in the worst afternoons of Frank Lampard's career. I mean, this is a man who openly hates West Ham, and oh boy do they hate him. So to be stood in their brand spanking new stadium, watching his mortal enemy sneak a win to call up to 6th in the league in April, while he's lurching on the edge of a relegation zone in 17th.
Oh, you're getting sacked in the morning, fat Frank!
Standing in the middle of a West Ham cauldron of snarling orcs. What a miserable Sunday afternoon this would have been. Leeds 1, Southampton 1. James Ward-Prowse is some sort of freak. I mean, this guy is the modern day Matt Letitia, a Southern one club man who just likes to make a career out of winning the goal of the month for Southampton. I mean, I'm convinced this guy spent his childhood watching videos of David Beckham in his home in Pompey. Let's be real, this guy is not world class. He struggles to make the England squad, but he is world class at free kicks. He is in the top 0.1% of footballers who can take set pieces. He is like the English Juninho Pernambucano. I mean, remember that Brazilian midfielder for Lyon? I mean, does anyone remember anything about him other than his free kicks? Can anyone tell me about his passing or tackling? No. Free kicks were his legacy. They were his world-class party trick. And just like they are for JWP, honestly, he's probably about as good at free kicks as David Beckham. Burnley 0, Man City 2, and Liverpool 2, Watford 0. Okay, since these two are intrinsically linked in everything they do this season, I might as well lump in their games together. Man City and Liverpool. Listen, these games are just minimum fuss. Diogo Jota and Fabinho see off Watford, and Kevin De Bruyne and Ilkay Gundogan put Burnley to sleep. But these games are now just irrelevant rubbish, drowning in a sea of title-chasing wins. Honestly, it's not even worth discussing these matches, because back in the spring of 2019, does anyone remember Liverpool winning 2-1 at Fulham, or grinding out a 2-0 win at Cardiff? Does anybody remember Man City securing a 1-0 win at Bournemouth, or again beating Watford 3-1 at home? No, these games just lost, in both of these teams battled for the title, just seen as another win. I mean, as soon as the full-time whistle sounded, both these teams were already mentally checked out and preparing for the next game. I mean, honestly, go back to the spring of 2019. The only standout moments from that title race you might actually remember is Divock Origi's late winner at Newcastle, and then of course Vincent Kompany's stunning winner versus Leicester. But that's it. Everything else, just win after win after win after win after win. So these games are already just an irrelevance. Nobody will remember these matches ever happened in 2023, I guarantee you that. Brighton 0, Norwich 0. I'm not even going to waste my breath. Oh yeah, before I go, you know the video I did about my worst interaction with every club's player on April Fool's Day? And you all had to guess which one was the true story? No, it wasn't Andros Townsend getting sick of my shoes. No, it wasn't Jack Butland speeding. And no, I never played against Queeving Kelleher. No, the correct answer is this one.
I hope your arm heals quickly, my friend.
No, not that one. I mean, does this look like it's healing?
I'm guessing the Perez story. I can just imagine the Irish guy walking through an airport while having smashed his face off a table.
Yeah, Sepp Janssen, you are an incredible man. You have guessed it. Hooray to you. So here's your 30-second shout out. I mean, everyone go and subscribe to Sepp Janssen, I guess. I mean, he's got 0 videos and nearly 50 subscribers. You know what, lads? For that answer alone, go and get him to 100 subscribers. Go on, go and double it. What a guy, Sepp Janssen, absolute hero. I mean, sorry to the rest of you who guessed Perez and who didn't get a shout out.
I owe Perez story 100%. Can't wait for the best 45 seconds of my life.
Christ above, you seem so excited. Anyway, that's what do you think? Alright, let me know in the comments section below if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe as always. I'll talk to you in a while.